India has a lot of everything, really. People, languages, religions, old kingdoms, and so on. So in a sense, it's not all too surprising that India also has a fair collection of writing systems within it. But considering how a place like Europe is also diverse in languages, yet these languages only use 4 different writing systems between them, 5 if you count Armenian, why does almost every language in India, and furthermore in Southeast Asia, seem to practically have its own writing system? Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Well, first, as always, it's best to familiarize yourselves with what exactly we're talking about. Now, I might have specified India in the title and the intro, but really, it would be better to look at the Indian subcontinent as a whole. The most widely used script native to this region, and 4th most widely in the world, is Devanagari. You know, that script with a continuous line through it? Used by 600 million people speaking over 120 different languages, most notably including Hindi and Marathi. Next are the Bengali Assamese scripts used by Bengali and Assamese, then Telugu, then Tamil, Gujarati, Kannada, Malayalam, Gurumukhi used by Punjabi, Odia, Sinhala, and Tana in the Maldives. That's nearly a dozen different writing systems without even including anything like the modified Arabic script that Pakistan uses, or the Latin alphabet, or indeed many of the other scripts used less often. So if Europe's pretty much just limited to Latin, Greek, Cyrillic, Georgian, and Armenian, and Chinese to Chinese, how did India develop so many more? Possibly the most important thing to understand about all these scripts is that they're all closely related. These and many other scripts in Southeast Asia all form a family known as the Brahmic scripts. This family of scripts all shares a common ancestor in the form of the Brahmi script, a now extinct Abugida used from the 3rd century BC to the 5th century AD. In fact, the Europe comparison I made in the intro is somewhat apt, as the Brahmi script itself also shares a common ancestor with Latin, Greek, and Cyrillic, as well as Hebrew and Arabic, Phoenician. In fact, actually, you can sort of consider this an informal part 2 to my History of the Latin Alphabet video. Don't watch it now, watch it later, I'll put it in the end screen. The Phoenician script was an abjad used by, well, the Phoenicians, not exactly a mystery there. The Phoenicians were widely known as major seafaring traders, setting up colonies and trading ports all across the Mediterranean. Compared to other logographic or syllabic scripts of the time, Phoenician was quite a flexible script. Since every letter corresponded directly to a single sound, the script was easy to use and tailor to other languages, with modification. The Greeks did this, from which spawned all the European writing systems I mentioned earlier, but by far the most prolific descendant of Phoenician, in terms of how many different new scripts it split into, was the Aramaic abjad. Hey kid, wanna buy some consonants? Consonants? Yeah man, you see each of these markings represent sounds. Put them together and you make words. It's like what they've been doing in Egypt and Babylon for record keeping, but far easier to learn. I don't know, didn't Athens say that stuff will mess with your memory or something like that? Oh, you've clearly been listening to too much Socrates lately. No, this can be shaped to fit basically any language. You can use it to write stories or write down records or things like that. Seriously, this stuff will basically make you immortal. So, what do you say? Okay, sure, I'll give it a try. Excellent, you won't regret it. Yeah, I might modify this a bit, but I could definitely see other people's using this. Yeah, exactly. Alright, nice talking with you. Gotta hit up the Athenians on this stuff now. And soon, a writing craze spread throughout the region. The Aramaic script was used for well over 1,000 years in the Middle East, with the Aramaic language becoming the lingua franca of the Neo-Assyrian and Neo-Babylonian empires, and particularly the Persian Achaemenid Empire, which just so happened to stretch all the way east to the Indus River. Of course, the empire used Old Persian, which used a cuneiform script, as its official language, but after conquering Mesopotamia, they started to use Aramaic as a common tongue between all the vast groups within the empire. And thus also came Aramaic's remix of the Phoenician script. Hey Nabateans, have this writing system. Hey Israelites, I'm letting you all go back to Jerusalem. Here, have this writing system as well. Oh hey Aramaeans, thanks for the writing system by the way. Oh yeah, no problem, I'm gonna go to Central Asia now. Okay, tell the Sogdians, the Uyghurs, and the Mongols I said hi. Hey Northwest Indians, I know you're gonna have a blast with this. Hey Macedonians. Oh no, I'm being conquered at an alarming rate. After the fall of the Achaemenids though, the Aramaic script no longer had a central authority behind it, allowing for different cursives and variations to become more popular in different areas, as happened with Hebrew, Arabic, Old Uyghur, Mongolian, Manchu, and in northern India with Kharosti, Pahlavi, and particularly Brahmi. While Kharosti and Pahlavi didn't really go anywhere, the Brahmi script was used for languages all across the Indian subcontinent, including Sanskrit, Tocharian, and older versions of Kannada, Telugu, and Tamil, with some of the earliest known inscriptions being in an older Indo-Aryan language known as Prakrit, one of the earliest notable examples of which being the Edicts of Ashoka. Brahmi was, like most of its descendants, an Abugida, as opposed to its Abjad ancestors. However, Phoenician and Aramaic were Afro-Asiatic Semitic languages, whereas the languages of northern India were Indo-European Indo-Aryan languages, which of course meant that they were quite different. This was especially true in phonology, with Aramaic having letters for certain sounds found in Semitic languages, but no letters for the myriad of different sounds found in South Asia, such as aspirated sounds. Thus, just like how the Greeks repurposed certain Phoenician letters to become vowels, thereby creating an alphabet, certain Aramaic letters were repurposed to make sounds that no Semitic language ever had, though exactly how is still up for debate. Hey, we're on the case for someone spreading and writing around here. You see any of those types? No? Alright, well let us know if you do. We set up some wanted posters over there to remind you all. Okay, why is it blank? Well, we can't be having any writing around here. Oh, right. The script eventually started to split into two different variations, one used in the north with its primarily Indo-European languages, and one in the south with its primarily Dravidian languages. Well, Sinhala was actually Indo-European, but, proximity. Over time, through steady contact with these regions, northern Brahmi would spread north into Tibet and Central Asia, and southern Brahmi would spread east from South Asia into Southeast Asia. Oh my god, that's like maths or something like that. In the north, the script steadily evolved into the Gupta script, used by the Gupta Empire. The script then split into three different groups, Siddham, Sharada, and Tibetan. Siddham split off into Bengali, Assamese, and Nagari, and thus Devanagari. Sharada eventually gave us Gurmukhi, and Tibetan is still used today, but also split off into a few smaller groups as well. Brahmi, however, has even more descendants arising from the south. The Pallava script first showed up in around the 4th century AD, when most of southern India was ruled by the Pallava dynasty. Yeah, evidently they just cut straight to the point with these names. Still within India, the script then split into Tamil and Granta, the latter branching off into Malayalam and a few others. Sri Lanka's Sinhala also developed directly from Brahmi. Meanwhile, Pallava had been exported to Southeast Asia through the Pallava's sick trading skills, and branched off into Old Mon, Khmer, Cham, and Kawi. From these scripts, we eventually get Burmese, Thai, and Lao, and via Kawi, we get a whole host of scripts across the Nusantara archipelago, including Javanese, Balinese, Batak, and Baibayin. Or at least... Wait, okay, relax. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what's going on. Or at least, sort of, something like that. You see, while researching this video, I found a lot of my sources tended to disagree with one another on the specifics. Like, a lot. However, I think that actually makes sense. After all, if we just say, well, this script split up and evolved into these scripts, which gave us these scripts, like some sort of rigid family tree, that kind of discredits a lot of stuff. Like, for instance, the fact that these cultures still regularly intermingled with one another. But unfortunately, I was just too lazy to research this properly. I mean, I didn't have time in the video. Crap, did I leave the brutal honesty filter on again? India has been united before, or at least mostly united, by empires spreading their influence across the subcontinent. The Mauryas, the Guptas, the Delhi Sultanate, the Mughals, and so many others. But never for as long as Rome over Europe or China's dynasties over China. Which might explain why these places have so relatively few writing systems as compared to India. Ultimately, these scripts not only withstood the test of time and foreign conquest, but even remained in common use to this day within their respective regions. I'm getting close. I'll get you one of these days, Phoenicia. Hey kid, want to build yourself a website? Then you've come to the right place, because this video sponsor Squarespace is the best place to build a website for your business. Whether it's a YouTube channel, or a restaurant, or a fancy startup, or a meme page, or a personal website, or even just a landing page to link all your socials. Although maybe not if you're one of those companies. No, I promise, this is totally not a pyramid scheme. Squarespace offers tons of beautiful templates for your website. Just select one and you can add, remove, or customize anything you want, including adding a blog, somewhere to collect donations, or start email campaigns. And if somehow even then you can't find one that works for you, you can even code the whole thing from scratch. I made this channel's website KhAnubis.tv a few years ago, before they even reached out to pay me to say this stuff. And no joke, it was really quick and easy to set up the website that I thought truly showed people what this whole KhAnubis thing is all about. Good branding can go a long way. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your new website, go to squarespace.com/KhAnubis to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain, and help support the channel.